Right.
Yep.
We're back.
In
Welcome.
pod form.
In pod form. What?
You know what? I
So,
might.
You say
I don't
pod
know
or
if it's
pog?
said enough,
Pog.
but
'Cause I'm pogged for sure.
D&D is pretty poggers, if I do say so
Absolutely.
myself.
Poggers in chat, please.
Hey.
So does anybody remember what happened last time? Because as I previously mentioned, I barely remember myself, and I'm the person who came up with the dang thing.
yeah, I remember.
Well, let's take notes.
You remember, so we don't have to.
What? Yeah, I should take notes, but I don't.
So yeah, basically, last time when we were starting, we were basically finishing the plot line where we did that busy work for the Boros Goblin.
Yes.
And we kind of touched base with the quartermaster. We went into the main establishment. We touched shoulders with Nash's Sven.
Who was there? Yes.
Yeah. And then essentially we got briefed that they'd love our assistance. There were three main sort of areas where there was weird goings on, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Something about enchantments and people disappearing. I can't remember if that was specifically the area we were going to. I think so, because I think the other two, one was like heavily, essentially like the Gruul, heart of the Gruul
Camp in the area. Yep.
operation. And then one was just like a heavily raided area that was essentially a contested zone.
Yep, that's correct.
So, as a group, we opted to go for the sort of seemingly innocuous but potentially nefarious people just mysteriously going missing area. And as we got there, we found sort of a magical aura that was giving us voodoo vibes. And then we were following it until we hit an area where there was like a magical noise field where it just sort of blanked everything out. And basically we went through the field, realized we were getting the signal again, heading back towards where we had the blank zone. So went into the blank zone, started doing some searching, asked for anything unusual. People raised some eyebrows and then pointed us towards a Rakdos nightclub, which we are in the process of scoping out essentially and infiltrating.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Just a few things that you might want to remember is that the Boros officer in charge of this operation is also in charge of Sawtooth Prison. That's his like formal duty, but he's on
Right.
to deal with this. You also have a Boros escort with you, three
Right.
simple soldiers, Rorik, Igor, and Yand, and they're following you guys around. You guys haven't talked to them much, but they've been there, and you guys got some secret instructions last time as well, which you all should be aware of because they're still in effect. Yeah. And yeah, you kind of described it as like a blanking field. It's not quite that. It's not like a anti-magic kind of thing. It's more that there's just a stronger enchantment in this area that was preventing you guys from tracing it, because the field that you guys were originally tracing was weaker and less and more diffuse. But there's a much stronger one in this area, which is blocking out your ability to track down the other one. It's somewhere in here, but you're just not sure exactly where because the other enchantment is much stronger. And yeah, you mentioned that there are people going missing, but even like larger troop movements, it's not like just that individuals are disappearing, but like large supply convoys are getting waylaid and then getting ambushed, or sometimes they just get lost, and yes, sometimes they do just disappear. I just want to make sure like it's both small and large, and even like large like troops are like getting turned around and missing their targets and can't find things. So
Right.
some kind of larger enchantment that's causing the Boros to lose their way, and they really want.
Okay.
So that's what they're pretty sure that's what this field is doing. They'd like to, but they're not 100% sure. But that's just what they think. and they want to examine these artifacts basically to get a better notion of if that's the case, and if so, what they can do about it. So yes,
Okay.
so you're looking for whatever is causing this field, and yes, you have an Arachnos nightclub, which you guys have explored all of the public areas. And actually, I made a little map for it, so I'll drag you guys over there. I don't know if you guys are actually here right now or not, but I made a little boo boo and forgot to put a door into the club. So that's the front door.
Thank you. I
This is
want to
like
get out of this
this is like the
nightclub.
vestibule, and this is the door. I just forgot to put one in. So that's what it is.
OSHA
Um,
violation.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Actually, I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna put that on the map layer. Just so you guys, just so we don't forget that that's what that is. Um,
Light
yes,
yourself up.
and the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this before. There's like a roped off area that's labeled as a VIP area over here, which I
Okay.
don't think I mentioned before.
I thought you
Um,
did mention that, and then
I did, but I forgot. There's two areas, right? So there's
Oh.
the back, like this area in the downstairs on your right. If you go down here, this hallway, there's a roped off area here, and there's another one here with a big fancy like door, with like it's got like carved art in it. So I think I forgot to mention this door entirely, but it's important. Well, it might be important. It looks important. Impressive. It's an impressive door. So,
My cats are fighting.
oh, your cats are fighting. Ah, you guys gotta have a united front.
Yeah, what's good for the goose is good for the goose.
Enemy
I
dog.
just play fighting, not actually fighting. Okay.
Oh, they're just having a little scuffle. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, this is the nightclub. I don't know if you guys were still exploring the area. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is that Andrew, your character made a deal with a devil to come back for like some illicit tryst at a
This
later
is
at
true.
the end of the evening in exchange for getting backstage access, basically, or
Yeah.
not backstage, not but like to the
To the
VIP
VIP.
area,
Yeah.
uh, which the devil seemed to be fine with. But the rest of you did not. So keep in mind that although I have this area like cleared out because like Azala knows what it is and what's going on back here,
Mm.
the rest of you don't. So keep that in mind. Um, I should also make a little. There's also a little like stage here. Oops. A little like stage here, and there's some tables, which I and chairs, and there's like just a bunch of these around. There's a bunch of tables down here. I'm just gonna draw some tables. You can assume like these all have chairs, and there's also just like kind of it is like a little bit like chill. There's just like stuff scattered about. Like it's not like it doesn't look like a very strict like layout, you know.
Mm.
Um, and then there's a bar which I should also put. And then yeah, there is a
Is this like a stage over here? Oh, I accidentally made it a dot instead of make it ping.
yeah, that's like an open air area.
Ah.
So it's like a theater, right? So like the staircases are going down the sides, and this is like you can think of this whole like main area here as kind of like a balcony kind of
Oh.
idea. Oops. Uh, as like a balcony. That's how you can kind of think of it, if that helps you. And then yeah. The stage itself is actually over here on the far right. It's quite small. Well, I mean, it's 40 feet wide. So it's not like tiny or anything, but it's and that's about it. I think that's all I wanted to say. So without any further ado, oh yes, the other thing I want to say is that you guys were investigating like the over here in the neighborhood. You were investigating like all of the warehouses around here and the stuff, and they seemed to mostly be like supporting or like equipment for the nightclub, as far as you
Right.
can tell. You
All the
didn't
different
find
warehouses
anything.
and stuff.
Yeah, this district basically looks like it's mostly like supports the nightclub, the businesses here. At least the warehouses, the businesses are closed currently, so tough to say. Okay, that's everything. So take it away, whatever you guys want to do. I don't remember exactly where you left off, what you were doing, but maybe I can have a look, see if I can remember.
Yeah, I think we were just scoping it out. I think we were essentially waiting for the events to unfold.
Yeah, waiting for the show to start.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, if you guys want to just chill out and wait for people to start filing in, that's fine. And fast forward you guys a bit.
So
Okay. So, the club starts to fill up. You guys are seated at a table, I guess. I'll just put you guys at a table. Sure, that's a good enough table. And people start filtering in. There's not a ton of people, but there's like a decent amount, and like the tables are starting to fill up. Drink is starting to flow. People are starting to chat and whatnot. And before too long, a devil dressed in a top like a full on can't think of the word like white white tie and top hat kind of rolls up onto the stage.
Burlesque.
And it says, "Ladies and gentlemen,
Devil's dressing like a human.
welcome to the Giants Club." And there's like a smattering of polite applause. Tonight, we are very grateful to welcome Master Panjandrum's extraordinary Carnival of Delights. And there's like again like a polite smattering of applause.
Did they say Carnival of Delights?
All the way from the center of the city, the most prestigious, the grandest, the most death-defying our circus troupe in all of Ravnica, here to entertain. And of course, at the end of the night, we have Blood Witch Senka.
right.
Woo! Woo! I trumpet. As I applause.
I'll move her down. As our shows show-stopping finale. And of course, throughout the evening, a variety of beasts, fantastical and dangerous, will fight for your amusement in the cages located above the main dining hall. And he like gestures at the cages above you, the huge square steel cages that are currently like adhered to each wall. Um, but before, like, they were like hanging loose in like the center, so you can see that there's like a winch system, so they can like pull them back to the walls and then like
Okay, interesting.
release them, so they slam together in the center of the above
Oh,
the
wow.
floor. But first, let me introduce a juggler of some repute, the Headless, and then a juggler comes on, and he's wearing like a bit. He's like, he looks as though he's not doesn't have a head, and he like takes a bow, like a deep bow, and then starts like juggling like carved wooden heads. So
Okay.
that's what's going on. What are you guys gonna do?
I'm astounded.
The Boros soldiers have gotten like excited, and are like, they're like kind of like saying like, if you guys don't like need us for anything, we're gonna go watch the show.
Yeah, I don't mind them enjoying, like, watching the show, but I don't want them to get so distracted that they, like, forget why we're here. So I'm just gonna tell them to try and like spread out a little bit and keep an eye for anything that seems sort of suspicious or might be the cause of this like magical what's not that's going on.
Igor nods.
And then yeah, I'm just gonna try and keep an eye on them so they don't get like lost or stabbed.
Sure. So Igor and I can't remember the other guy's name. I know
My notes here. So
I know 2 out of 3. Igor and Yand are like more in like wander over here to the here. Let me just I'll give them separate tokens so you guys can, because you said you're trying to keep track of them, right? So
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to lose them.
I will. I mean, I'm and
I have a weird fear that they're gonna get stabbed or abducted. Or worse, just like get totally engrossed and then like I'm gonna lose them. I'm just gonna literally lose them in the crowd. How busy is it here?
it's like there's a few dozen people on the top floor here, and you've seen, only a couple dozen more have come in. Like, it doesn't look like it's particularly busy.
Okay, it's not like
Yeah,
shoulder to
keep in
shoulder.
mind, like, it's still early in the evening, right? The show is just getting started,
Mhm.
so there's not much going on.
I mean, how many people are even in this area? I find it really shocking that they're running this nightclub. But
Well, I mean, I don't know. You looking at the books?
yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah. So Igor and Yand are more excited, so they go and they kind of like do like a half-hearted job of like splitting up. They're very clearly like
very well.
like just kind of watching the show.
Yeah.
Rorik leaves and is like, doesn't seem like he's all that interested, and goes and sits at the bar.
Okay.
So yep. So there's a juggler on stage. People are milling about, chatting.
How awesome is he? Is he a good juggler?
Make a performance check.
Yeah. Can you appreciate his awesome juggling?
I mean, it's pretty impressive to you. Can you juggle? Don't answer. Even if you could, can you juggle when you can't see what you're doing? As far as you're concerned, this
I
is
don't
pretty
know.
good. As far as
It's the
you're
first time I
concerned-
ever saw juggling.
As far as you're concerned, this is pretty nifty. Yeah. But like I said, it's a pretty tame act. Like people are mostly not paying attention; they're just chatting.
Hmm.
So you guys just gonna take in the performance, or do you have anything else you want to do?
I think yeah, as long as I'm keeping an eye on
Sure.
all parts, and I mean, I might just watch the performance a bit too. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So after the routine goes on for some time, he has a couple of assistants come out and they do like some three-person juggling routines where he's like tossing the head, the carved wooden heads back and forth. And the grand finale, he throws like a bunch of heads up into the air, and they all like flop down into like the neck hole of his outfit, one after the other,
Ooh.
and then they all disappear into his neck hole, and then he bows and
Okay.
takes his leave of the stage, and the devil in the top hat comes back on, and he like says, "Wow, wasn't that fantastic, folks?" And everyone make a wisdom save.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Am I being charmed?
Am I horny on main?
Yes, I would say you're being charmed, if that matters.
I think I have advantage.
I have advantage on being charmed because I'm
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
elephant.
I rolled a
It's not
20.
like yeah. It's basically like being charmed. You know.
What?
Um. Okay, so the rest of you, your opinion is your own, but yeah, you think it was a great show. Oh boy, did you think it was good? It's like the best juggler you've ever seen. Yeah, that was pretty good. The rest of you, you can think whatever you like.
It was awesome.
You can still think it was a good show. It's your
Guys,
opinion.
you
Yeah.
see that thing where he took his thumb and it looked like it came off his hand? It was crazy.
Anyway, the crowd seems to concur with Yaya and thinks it was a pretty dang good show, especially for like an opening act. Like, come on. So, but it's not every day that Master Panjandra makes it all the way out here to the first district. Like, whew.
Indeed.
Um, so there's he said the devil says, "All right, in a few moments, our next act will be on the field. But in the meantime, please turn your attention to our ceiling cages." And like a couple of like devils, which you guys didn't even like, are little imps that you guys didn't even notice before, were sitting in the rafters, and then now like light up these like big huge like candle based spotlights, and like train them on the cages. And you can see there's like a on this side there's like a couple Rakdos members with like little like spears, and they're like a poking a Ceratok into, not a Ceratok, a Brush Strider into a thing, and the Brush Strider doesn't seem to be too keen on going in.
Hmm.
And on the other side, there is the same thing, and there you actually notice there's someone who looks kind of like in like Gruul garb is up there talking with one of the Rakdos members, but it's only for a few moments that you see them, because the cages slam shut and are released and crash together in this above the floor, and the cages spring open, and the two animals, like noticing each other, like kind of fly into a rage and start fighting.
Chris,
Uh-huh.
sorry. So how you said we saw them up there?
Yep.
Do I know how to get up there?
You didn't notice any stairways leading up there, no. You keep in mind, like you went downstairs, right? And this is
Yeah,
up above you, so you don't know how to get up there. No.
which I'm guessing is yeah, either through because this is like a staff door, and then this is like a VIP room, right?
Yeah, exactly. And below, you also saw there's a staff door here and here. I didn't actually, hold on, let me reveal this area a little bit better. Because the staff doors are like marked, like they're not like hidden or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, right? So Yeah, so there's another staff door here that you noticed. So here, 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 and here were all
Okay.
either labeled, like all of the small doors are labeled like staff only, and this big door doesn't have a label, but there's someone like a guy, there's like a dude in Rakdos garb standing in front of it.
Okay. Do I see who's going back and forth? Is there anyone going back and forth between this door?
Interestingly enough, no. I mean, hold on, make a perception check.
Okay.
See how closely you're paying attention.
Fair enough.
Because you did say you were keeping your eye on the Boros guys, so
For
maybe
sure.
that drew your attention away. You have no idea.
Is that a
You get-
zero?
It's a 1, I guess.
Yeah.
It occurs to you, you have no idea if anyone is coming in or out of that door. It could have been
Okay.
nobody or like the entire population of the district, for all you know.
Okay.
That juggling routine was a little more interesting.
A little
than you
more
were-
eye-catching than I expected. Yeah. Okay. Jeez.
So the two brush riders are brush riders are normally known for being quite calm, but these ones are really going at each other and like biting at like the base of each other's necks and kicking and causing a big ruckus. The cages are like rattling like crazy, and everyone on the ground is cheering.
Okay. How much of a look did I get of the Gruul guy who was up there?
I mean, you saw enough to know that it was a Gruul person, and they were like visibly in Gruul garb, and he was having a conversation with one of the Rakdos cultists who was like who was like shepherding the brush strider into the cage. But you didn't see much more than that because then the spotlights swung away, and it's too dark in the rafters for you to see without the spotlights.
Okay. Is there like a standard uniform for this nightclub though? For like the Rakdos cultists?
Yes, there is. So all of
Okay.
all of the staff that you've seen are like wearing like a like basically what amounts to like just a dark shirt and pants, but with
Okay.
very like ostentatious like ruffles and frills on like the cuffs and collars. And generally speaking, they have a like a large ornamental like pin or something along those lines. Either some of them wear it in their hair, some of them on their breasts, some of them, you know, on their wherever else. That has a large Rakdos insignia on it, and with the name the Giants Club underneath it. So this is like the kind of like their like identifying pin, so you notice them.
Yeah.
The devil that you saw earlier was very similar, except his like getup was even more like colorful and had lots of like bright reds and oranges. Whereas most of like the rank and file staff, and so is like the guy standing in front of this door. His outfit paradoxically is even more attention getting and ostentatious than the regular staff, who are mostly just wearing black.
Okay.
That's a very long way of saying yes, they have recognizable uniforms.
Okay. No, fair enough.
And the guys up there who were like pushing the beast were also wearing those kind of uniforms, although they were also wearing like gloves.
Like the black uniform?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So is there anywhere I can go that's like out of like kind of out of the way and possibly out of earshot-ish?
Depends on what you mean by that. I mean,
Like if I was to say, oh, I don't know,
you can tell me what you want to try to do, and I can tell you where your character might want to go for the best chance of
Okay.
success. So that's
I'll be completely transparent with you then.
yeah. I'm not gonna screw you over once I know what you're doing.
But like,
I'm
so that's
gonna
what
be
you
like,
want
oh,
to do,
yo,
man.
I mean, you know, your
fails.
character might get screwed over, but I'm not gonna do it on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, so basically I want to infiltrate upstairs. So I'm trying to either disguise myself as someone who I know has access to the VIP room, or disguise myself as a regular cultist and just try to pretend like I'm late, I need to get in position, and then like run up there. So I have both alter self and disguise self. Alter self to change my appearance and disguise self to change my clothing and stuff. I realized I actually need to use them both to do both. I didn't realize that at first, but I need both. So I can use Alter Self to change my appearance. I'm not sure if you're fine with me changing my voice along with Alter Self. So if I want to be male, if I can sound male, or if I need to.
I think
Yeah.
that seems like it's within the bounds of what the spell could do, right?
Okay. Yeah. I just wasn't sure how you wanted to run it.
That's fine by me.
But
It seemed like it would
yeah,
be
that
good.
was it. Just disguise self, alter self, look
Sure.
like a
Well,
Rakdos.
okay. I'll tell you what occurs to your character. You know, for instance, that when you tried to cast magic earlier in the day, the staff kind of like wandered over and like, please, no casting spells.
Yeah.
You remember that there were like the private rooms in the basement. Underneath this, there were like a bunch of private rooms, which you could, in theory, like step into one of them and cast some spells really quick.
Right.
Other than that, there's also like this bathroom over here,
Yeah.
which had like some baths, but yeah. So you're not 100% sure. Like those are the only places where you are obviously A, private, and B, not not inaccessible to the public.
Yeah. Okay,
Other
I'll
than
make my
that,
way
you
downstairs.
haven't noticed any. Other than that, nothing springs to your mind as like a place where you would actually not be seen by someone.
Okay, no, fair enough.
Mhm.
I'll find Senich, and I'll ask him to keep an eye on the guards. And then I'm gonna go downstairs to disguise myself.
Sure.
Okay. Being sort of literal, I stand up and go start talking to the guard, and I'm going to try to.
Or I think by guards he means like your Boros escort.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
I
already
think
left.
that's right.
Yeah,
I'm. He already left, so I'm gonna
You
go.
already left. You left already.
So I'm gonna go and talk to
Choose to
the.
misinterpret his comment. That's fine by me.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna go talk to the staff guy and try to go
Guy
and
here.
yeah, and ask like basically be like, hey, listen, I know music, I'm good. Dude, is there like an interview process? Can I go, backstage and
Okay.
listen out? Do you need any music for any private quarters?
Um. Make a persuasion check.
Cause I'm good.
Ooh, wow.
He kind of like looks you over, and he's like clearly impressed with your like boundless charisma. And he says, "Oh, well, you know what? Can't hurt to have another act. Not often we get goody two shoes like you coming down here. So all right. Just give me a second here. Or sorry, he said, just come with me. Come with me." And he like opens the door, and you like gestures you in.
Cool. I follow.
So you see a hallway.
I'm keeping an eye on the guard. He's right here. Look, he's right beside me. He's ushering me in.
You see a hallway that stretches down that way, and there's like a little. It's a little dark. It's not well lit, but you can see that there's like a little chamber past here, but you can't quite see what it exactly is in it. And also over here, the hallway turns to the right and goes off to the right as well. So there's a T junction here, but you can't see obviously. And you're also turned to the right and are going into this room over here,
Okay.
which is a fairly like ritzy looking lounge. There's a bunch of like leather couches and like a small, very very small like one person or like a small stage there. And there's like a small bar in the corner, and it looks like this is like basically like a VIP room, like a place where important people will hobnob and chat with a little bit more privacy. And there is actually like a couple here who are a man and a woman, just wearing like evening wear and sitting on one of the couches and just chatting and drinking, sipping on some drinks. They don't pay any attention to you. And he says, he's like, all right, the boss is, I'll get the boss for you. He'll give you an audition. It'll take him a few minutes though. He's busy. So why don't you take a seat? You want a drink? Just ask for one. The bar's enchanted. It'll get it to you.
That's cool. I like motion over for a drink or whatever with my trunk to see what happens.
Yeah. So like a tankard of mead like pours itself and floats across the room to you.
Wow.
Is that what you wanted?
Sure. Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted.
Wow, this magical enchanted bar is pretty good. Anyway, better than I thought it would be. Anyway, so you're are you gonna like obey and like just wait for the boss to show up, or are you gonna sneak around?
I don't know. They said it's like a couple minutes. Sure, I'm gonna walk down the hallway and see what's in the dark area.
Sure.
As soon as he leaves me to my own devices.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like bring my mead though with me.
Yeah. So he leaves and he goes back through the door. And yeah, so you wander down the hallway. I'll get back to you, by the way, Andrew.
Yep, no worries.
I'm just assuming that, like, basically this is taking place while you're like going into the room and casting your spells. So once we'll do this like back and forth a little bit, and we'll also check in on our other intrepid adventurers. All right, so you get to a T-junction. The hallway continues over there. There's like a four-way junction here, and you can hear like a fair bit of noise coming from this direction, like chatter and clattering. And then you see over here, as you kind of wander down the hallway, a small chamber here, and you can hear a conversation from this chamber as well. You can't see anything, and there's like this. I didn't put like a door, but there's like a small like curtain here. That's kind of like drawn across the hall, so partially. It's just kind of like hanging there. It's not like a proper like curtain, you know? So yeah, where do you want to go? Just like that. Put that on the map layer. Look at me go.
I think I will just like walk to like the end of the hallway here and smell and see if I can identify by sense of smell what's going on. If they're like eating something or they're like beating someone up.
I guess yeah. Make a perception check.
It's follow sense of smell, so I get advantage. Yeah.
Sure.
Because of my Loxodon nature.
You smell lots of delicious food.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no like anyone being super obvious, being like, we gotta, something Rachnos magic. Or whatever.
All of a sudden, a guy wearing Rakdos garb like pops out of this hallway and then walks over to this hallway, and you hear like the thumping of someone going down a flight of stairs. He doesn't even look in your direction.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. He's carrying a plate of hors d'oeuvres.
Well, he's probably gonna do something like eat food or something.
He's gonna eat!
Get him!
Get him!
Food?
Well, in hopes that I will be joining them or something, if I'm like a member, if they like go backstage, I'm gonna go back to hopefully impress upon them that I'm a good magician, or not magician, musician.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna head back. I think I saw someone. I don't really know what's going on here, but yeah.
Okay.
Did we see that rack? Is it the same guy from like the cages upstairs?
No, it's just another member of staff, as far as you can tell. You didn't recognize his face.
Okay.
Although, make a perception check. He doesn't stand out to you. He got a pretty nondescript face for a Rakdos cultist.
Okay.
But he was just dressed like a member of staff, like the kind that you've seen, like delivering, like all the waiters and bartenders upstairs. He
Okay.
looks just like the same as all of them, basically, in terms of his wardrobe.
Okay. I think I'll just head back to the lounge,
Sure.
finish up this mead, and maybe order another one, and then
Okay.
just like sit down and wait.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, while you're doing all that, Andrew,
Yep.
you make it to the downstairs. You just kind of flash your like armband to the devil who nods you through.
Right.
He's like talking with like some other people, and so he doesn't even like pay you any mind. He just waves you through. Yeah. So where do you want to go? Or I guess I should explain what's going on back here.
Sure. Yeah, things change.
So yeah, so there's like a handful of people here. These people are just generally like more well dressed and cleaner looking than
Okay.
the people upstairs. But they're kind of just lounging around, and there is a I guess kind of like a I guess the best way to put it is like a gymnastics performance going on the stage. Someone's
Oh
like
well.
doing like flips and you know all kinds of things and like tossing a baton up in the air, twirling batons and things like that. Very circus-esque, you know. Um, but yeah, that's so the people are kind of like giving her like a cursory look. But there's not too many people down here just yet.
Do I see anyone that looks like they work here that's just standing around?
Um, no, for
No.
the most part, people seem like for the most part, the staff are like will like come in from one of these two doors. Uh, Often, well, you'll see people coming, a lot of people coming in from this door, uh, like walking in, and like there's like a large group at this table, which are it's just like you can see like an Orzhov pontiff is like kind of holding court over here, so they're like bringing them lots of food and drinks currently.
No.
And then there are people like seated at some of these tables, kind of watching the show and drinking and chatting. But the staff don't really aren't. There's no staff that are like hanging around back here. It's all they're just coming and going as like waiters and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see anyone that's just standing there? Looks like I could approach them.
Well, I mean, there are people just standing around, but they're not staff.
Yeah, but yeah, just like a random
Sure.
person who
Yeah.
looks like they're just kind of enjoying the show.
Yeah, sure. There's a man wearing a I don't know what kind of person are you looking for?
Really, just someone who looks like a regular, I suppose.
Sure. Make a insight check. I don't know. They all look like regulars to you, so you pick a random guy.
Okay.
He's wearing a he's dressed in like a pale pale gold tunic, which looks somewhat expensive. And he's just kind of standing around nursing a bottle of some type. And he like nods at you as you approach. He says, "Hello."
God, those Rakdos shows are crazy. Where do they get those animals from?
He nods. He says, "Who knows? I'm not in the trade myself, but I know that there are a lot of like Gruul who are willing to bend the knee when it comes to commerce." And he like grins at you. He says, "But then again, who isn't?
Ah, true, true.
I
We
mean,
all follow something.
this district is notable for having like the most ferocious beasts in all of Ravnica, so it's not too surprising."
What kind of beasts?
He kind of like thinks. He's like, "Well, I mean, all sorts. I mean, they've usually it's just your typical kind of brush striders, dromads, ceratoks, but they've had all kinds of weird and exotic stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, he like looks you up and down. He says, "I'm pretty sure they had some weird like some kind of weird like crab octopus things a couple weeks back." I wasn't there at the time, but I'm kind of wishing that I had seen that. But no, it's normally like I said, just normal stuff. They had a last week. They had uh, a couple of worms go at it. That was quite something.
Cool. Well, you enjoy that. Maybe I'll see you later. And I wink.
He nods
And
and like looks back over at the stage.
gonna go disguise.
Sure, that's a bath.
Yeah, anywhere that like it's like a bathroom or literally a bath.
Well, it's like this is like a bathhouse, so
Oh,
there's like running water here. This is kind of like, and this room is kind of like a steam room, and then this
okay.
room is like has like a is like an actual like bath.
Okay. Is there a system for like when the door like a room is occupied or not occupied?
Um, the steam room doesn't have like a bolt or lock on the door. It's just a swinging door.
But for these rooms
In
here.
a rare concession to safety, the directors have decided that we probably don't want to be locking our customers in steam rooms.
Excellent.
These other rooms are all like the ones I mentioned yesterday. I don't know if or last week. These are all
Yeah,
like
yeah.
rooms.
It's like sex furniture rooms.
I mean, they have regular furniture as well.
I know, I'm just
This
teasing.
is private rooms, man. What you do with them is your business.
What's the proper word?
It's a
Mutable rooms,
trip,
I
man. They got private rooms. I don't know what to tell you.
guess.
You're probably rented for a birthday party.
Yeah. The self-design rooms. But yeah, if there's a way to tell if they're occupied or not, I'll try to pick one that's not occupied. If not, I'll just knock.
How are you gonna do that?
What is there a system? Like, is there like a card system? Like, just do not disturb, or like red means occupied, or is it
Nothing
just
springs to mind.
okay? Yeah, I'll just go up to a door and like listen in.
Yep, there's no sound.
Okay, I'm gonna knock.
There's no response.
I open it.
There's nobody inside.
Awesome. I disguise myself.
Okay, so
Uh,
you're doing some spell casting while you're in there?
yeah, I'm gonna go into the corner and maybe I'll like shove some pillows under the door or something before I start. I don't know how loud it has to be, and it's only one action each, but still.
The beasts are fighting, and there's like music playing.
Yeah, yeah.
So you probably won't be able to hear. Okay. You do that. How about Asa or Yaya and and Steed's character whose name is escaping me at the moment. What are you guys doing? You just enjoying the show? Anything else you guys want to do while these guys are exploring
I don't know
backstage?
what they're doing. I really just want to enjoy the show.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
haven't seen anything like this, so
Yeah, no, you're
I'm
enjoying the animal fights. Okay,
yeah.
just call PETA. It's no big deal. Um, okay, we'll go back to Sean for a bit. Okay, so a rather like corpulent man kind of like trundles through this door. He says, hey, you're the Loxodon. I heard about you. You know, don't often give people a chance like this, but I don't know. My doorman, I trust his judgment, and he said he saw something in you. So what the hell? And he like closes his office door behind him. What from what you could see from behind his like rather pudgy form, it just looks like a pretty normal office with a big oak desk and normal kind of furnishings. He says, "All right, go ahead." And he gestures toward the stage, and he like settles into a huge armchair, and like a glass of like whiskey is already like waiting on the arm rest of the chair, and he like sips it as he sits down.
All right. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to play guitar, and then at the same time as I'm playing the guitar, my trunk is going to like knock on the bongo and like a bass rhythm like dong 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 or whatever, and then I'm gonna play like some guitar to impress him.
Sure. In that case, performance check.
Use your inspiration if you have it.
Let's get hired.
Do not have it. But that's fine.
Okay. Um. So yeah, so you're like putting through a performance and kind of like trying your best. And the man who you're performing for seems like completely stone faced, like he's not reacting at all. But the other two humans in the room have like stopped talking and have like turned their face to like listen to you. What kind of music you're playing, by the way? Like,
I think it'll probably be pretty like an maybe like an upbeat dance, like kind of like medieval dance, like do 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 or something. But like there's like a nice beat of like knocking on the bongo underneath. That's
okay.
perhaps new.
So the other two humans who are there seem to appreciate your music. And they're like talking to each other and like smiling and enjoying the show. Um, and the man is like, after your performance is done, the man says, "Ah, you know what? You got potential. I'm not gonna lie." And he kind of like strokes his chin thoughtfully. He says, "You done any more carnival style
And
repertoire?"
I think about it, and I'm perhaps. Uh,
I'll
I
tell
guess,
you what. I'll tell you what. I got a couple of guys downstairs that I'll introduce you to. Follow me. And he kind of like, like slowly eases his way up and like gestures for you to follow him.
yeah, I'll follow. I think yes, this is good.
So while that performance is happening, I will assume will take a few minutes. So Azala, we're back to you.
Okay.
You have cast your spells. How have you disguised yourself?
Okay, so I think I'm just going to look like a like regular worker,
Mhm.
and then wearing the gloves, and then I'm just gonna like kind of in a like a huff, run my way back, past the devil and upstairs, and then like when I get here, be like, just kind of with purpose, like try to move past him. And I'm importantly putting that pin there as well, so they know I'm like part of the Giants Club.
Sure. Make a check of some kind. I guess deception.
Okay.
And I'll give you advantage because you're disguised as a member of staff.
Woo. Oh my god.
The guy like holds his hand up and he's like, "Hey, just don't go in the VIP room, okay? Boss is busy.
Okay,
And he literally like opens the door for you and lets you go through.
awesome. Did he motion where the VIP room was when he said not to do that?
No.
Okay.
You're a member
Over
of staff.
there.
You're a member of staff. You know where the VIP room is.
Oh yeah, I know everything. Okay, I'm
So
gonna
you
randomly.
you hear a like for all the world it sounds like a drum and bass arrangement coming from the VIP room.
Drum and
Or
bass.
from the room over here. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, that's what Sean said he was playing. He said medieval style, but I mean, you know.
Well, I'm playing
Blade,
I'm playing the bongo, but I'm purposely like hitting it so it's like loud and thumping. Doom, doom,
Yeah.
doom,
you're playing
doom,
Wonderwall.
doom, doom,
So
doom,
that
doom,
you're hearing him play basically. So
And
that's
then-
what's going on.
Mhm. Is it marked as VIP though?
I mean, the door, like you're kind of in a VIP area basically. And
Yeah.
there's like a I actually should have mentioned this earlier. There's like a little like court, like a little like whatchamacallit, like a velvet rope that kind of like ushers people towards this room.
Oh, okay.
But you can like, you can just walk past it. It's not like an actual barrier.
Okay. Well, I'll probably walk over here, see it's a door, and then decide to just keep going, so I can be out of line of sight of this guy.
Wait, what? Sorry?
Like I imagine my character's first instinct would be to walk into this open space, but then I would see there's a doorway, like a door. So then I would turn back, and my main goal is to get out of line of sight of the guy here, because it's just a rope or something, right? Or
Well, no,
something.
he's on the other side of the door. This is like a door.
There's literally a door there.
Yeah, that's a literal door. It's got like
Oh, okay.
fancy carvings on it, and he's like opened it for you and closed it.
Okay, well, if I get here, then I'll listen in on the door.
Okay. Well, this is the room where Sinich is currently, and he's performing for.
Oh, he's literally in here.
Yeah, he's literally in here
Oh, I thought
performing.
he was in here.
No. He's in this room, like on the stage, performing for the guy.
So I like walk over here and I see Cenich like performing.
I don't even recognize them. I use just some thing.
I mean, we can retcon it so that you notice each other if it becomes relevant, but
No,
No,
I
fair
don't.
enough.
I don't notice because
Well,
this
actually, that's a
guy's.
good point. You have no idea what he looks like right now, do you? So
I don't
unless
know.
something
Yeah.
crazy happens, you won't have noticed. You'll just have thought.
But
it was
I see him and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna think like, what the fuck? I told you to watch the cards. And then I'm gonna like just kind of whatever and then head this way.
Sure.
So you said,
No,
what's
you
the
wanna go
blue
down the
squiggle
hall.
again?
A little, like a little flimsy curtain.
Flimsy curtain. Can I like daintily peek past it?
You can. So there is a this room is now pretty much empty. And you can see through it to another room back here, which has a handful of people just kind of like milling about, and there's like just some tables and chairs and there are a couple of people like playing cards in a corner over here.
Oh, okay.
But there's nobody in this room, but there's like a handful of people over in here. Like some of them are playing cards, and there's like some like old beaten up looking couches that some people are like some staff are like sitting on, and there's like that's about it.
Okay. I'll walk in here and I'll try and scope up the area.
Sure. I mean, you walk in and you can see like there's a staff door here, and
Yeah.
you hear like a loud noise and clatter from to your right.
Does it sound like dishes?
Yep. It sounds a lot like
Okay.
dishes.
Yeah, I'll walk in there.
Yeah, this is like clearly a kitchen.
Okay.
And like one of the cooks like spies you. He says, "Unless you're working for me, get out of here."
Oh, sorry, I lost something. And then I'll turn around and walk out.
Good. I got enough people lollygagging about in this kitchen. He's like yelling at his subordinates. He's like a literal like demon, like chef, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, then.
He's like wearing a chef's hat.
And then what's... Or should we go to someone else?
Nope, this is fine. Unless, like I said, if Andrew or Steed or Tyler, if you want to like at any point do something, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep going.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah. Nobody in here is paying you any mind.
Okay.
There's a guy who's like looks like near catatonic on like on the sofa, and
Damn.
the other two people here have not looked up from their card game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to walk relatively briskly, like I'm just kind of like power walking everywhere. So I'll sort of like power walk over here and
Sure.
with purpose, kind of walk down the hall.
So there's a door at the end of the hall here.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. I'll open it.
Room here. And there's a guy sitting at a little table here. He's flicking through. He's like kind of like flicking like a little like dagger in his hands, and he's like just kind of tossing it around. He looks up at you and he says, "You need something?"
My stick. Have you seen it?
Sorry, what'd you say?
I lost my stick. Have you seen it?
He's like, "Your stick?"
Yeah, my stick. I use it for poking the beasts. And I'm gonna like walk in here and look around and see if I can see it.
Okay, so there's a couple of what look like holding cells right here,
Okay.
which are currently empty. He says, "Your stick for poking the beast? I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably upstairs, isn't it? But I don't know. You can check the lost and found." And he like points at like a bin sitting on the floor over here.
Okay. I'll go through it to be like, oh man, is it in here?
Sure. You're just making a show of it.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't. There's obviously. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what you find. You're not looking for anything.
You find a stick. I'll be like,
There's
oh
like
fuck.
this looks like a fairly typical lost and found. There's like bags and clothes and whatnot.
Okay. I'll be like, damn it. And then I'm gonna kind of turn around and then head out.
He's like, "Good luck. I hope you find it before you have to put the next one in there."
Yeah, you're telling me. And yeah, I think I see these on the map, but did my character see them when she passed by?
I mean, yeah, probably. It's a
Okay,
staircase
so
that goes up.
those are stairs going up.
Yeah. So yeah, like the thin bit is like the lower part of the staircase,
Okay.
and the thicker bit is the top.
Okay, I'll go up there then, since that's where I
Okay.
last saw the gruel guy.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of like go up the stairs, and so you are kind of in like a basically what looks kind of like a cellar.
Hmm.
I didn't actually put this on the map. So there's like a lot of like shelving in here against the walls, and it's a fairly large area. Um, there's lots of shelves, like rows of shelves, and but on like one of the walls there's like a you realize like there's a basically kind of like a ramp that kind of cuts this room in half,
Okay.
and you've emerged like very close to the ramp, which basically goes from like here to here. There's like
Okay.
a it's like a and there's like some cages sitting on the ramp that have like animals in them. A variety of wild animals looking. They look fairly sedate. One of them is actually even asleep. Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, and then the ramp goes down there, and you can see that there's like I said, like basically you can see like the winch mechanism for the cage
Yeah.
as well. And if you look across the room, you can see, like I said, like this whole area here is fairly it's got like boxes and all sorts of assorted junk in it. But on the far side, you can kind of see a very similar setup. And there's actually like bay doors on both sides, which
Okay.
are like loading doors. And you
Right,
remember
because
actually
this is underground,
seeing,
right?
sorry, yeah, you actually remember like seeing those doors on the side of the building.
Okay.
They look very familiar. So it looks like those are like the doors are like on ground level, and then they like go down a ramp into this cellar area.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like this is like a loading bay, and this is like a bunch of like there's a bunch of supplies and all sorts of stuff in this room. There are also some like Rakdos cultists milling about. Occasionally, like one of them actually kind of brushes past you and heads back down the stairs carrying like cartons of food, but doesn't pay you any mind.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and sitting near the ramp is Gruul, the Gruul person that you saw, and they look, they don't have like an expression on their face. They're just sitting at a table with a handful of Rakdos cultists who are all like holding onto these like poking sticks.
Wait, they're all sitting at a table together.
Yep.
Okay. Can I tap the Gruul person on the shoulder and like motion them to the side?
Uh, you can.
Yeah.
You walk up to the table, and so they're having like a conversation, and it kind of
Oh wait,
stops.
are
And
they talking to those people right now?
yeah, like they're all sitting at the table together, like chatting.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just like sitting there not doing nothing.
No, like him and the Rakdos are like having a little like they're like clearly talking about something.
Oh, okay. I'll go sit with him and then join the conversation.
Okay. Um, you're just gonna go over there and sit down.
Just kind of sit down and like
Sure.
I belong here.
Yeah. Make a I don't know. I guess a deception check with advantage.
Okay. Ooh, beans.
You got a very good disguise.
Oh my god.
So you kind of sit down and like one of the Rakdos guys like looks over the table at you and is like, "You supposed to be here?"
Are you supposed to be here? I said.
He's like, "Ha ha, very funny. Yes, I'm supposed to be here. Look, if you're fucking around, fine, but I don't want it on my conscience. So, are you supposed to be here?"
Yes, I'm supposed to be here.
He like rolls his
Sorry, I'm
eyes.
late.
Okay. He's like, "I told the boss a million times we should be have more staff on these, but you think he
Oh, you're
listens to
telling me.
me?" He's like,
No, I
"All
know.
right, all right, well, Stevie, go get him a stick." And he like gestures at like one of the like there's like one of the people at the table is like a goblin, and Goblin's like, "Sure thing," and he hops down and like goes and like digs in one of like the boxes nearby. He says, the sparker's a little defunct on this one, but hopefully you won't need it." And he like tosses it to
Excellent.
you. He tosses it to you.
Oh, thanks. Anyways. And then, were they talking about anything in particular before I joined, or?
You didn't really hear because they kind of stopped when you got close.
Okay. Do they
Uh,
not pick up again, or is there a natural break in the conversation?
I mean, everyone's just kind of like sitting down and chilling, but as soon as the guy who addressed you, he introduces himself. I'm not gonna give this guy a name. He introduces himself and the people here. Um, he notably does not introduce the Gruul person,
Okay.
but he says, "All right, so if you'll be working with us with this crew, that's fine. I mean, like I said, it's pretty simple. This guy here," and he kind of gestures at the Gruul. He's like, he can keep the beasts calm while they're up here. But he's got to release that basically like a I don't know. He kind of looks over him. He's like, some got a charm, right? And the Gruul kind of like nods. He says, yeah, some kind of charm. Anyway, he's got to release it before we release him in there to fight. You know, because
Ooh,
otherwise,
magic.
yeah. Um,
I mean, that makes sense. Don't know.
So,
want anybody getting hurt.
So yeah, exactly. Well, no more than is necessary. And he
And I
chuckles at
laugh.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, just give him generally just give him a few good prods. Some of the bigger guys, like that guy over there, and he like points down at the end of the line, and there's like a huge Ceratok, like one of the biggest ones you've ever seen, with like huge, like this, like a huge set of horns. Um, he says like, I mean, they're grumpy to start with, uh, so, but you know, you give them a good shock, and they'll get going.
Okay.
He says, "Oh yeah, I forgot your shocker doesn't quite work. Well, it doesn't really matter. Just give them a prod. They'll go in the direction. You know, they don't want to fight.
However you say so.
Well, until the enchantment gets released, that is." And then he chuckles and he says, "And then you know, the club does the rest."
Okay, wait. Do I see anyone who looks like they're the boss or in charge around here?
Sorry, 1 second, Andrew.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sure, we can give it a go. Okay. I'm not really. Okay. Yeah. So nobody is like. There's no like formal like looking like I said. You noticed that like the guys guarding like the VIP doors are wearing like fancier clothing. Um, and then there was the chef obviously, but these guys are all wearing like just normal apparel. They have like I said like they've been outfitted. They have like some heavy duty gloves and they're carrying sticks.
Hmm.
Uh, but they don't look any different from the other members of staff. But this guy is like the guy who's like talking to you and has kind of like been giving you instructions, and no one else has kind of like cut him off to explain anything.
Yeah.
You're fairly sure the guy you're talking to is kind of like leads this crew, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Can I try getting the grill guy over to like a corner where I can talk to him?
Sure. How do you want to do that?
I'm just gonna be like, hey, what's your name there?
He kind of like looks up at you and he says, "Gareth."
Gareth. Gareth, I got someone I want to ask you. Can I talk to you over here?
And he like looks over. He's like, "Over where?"
I'll just point at a corner.
He's like, he like looks. Is like, okay. And he like gets up from the table and walks over there.
Is he a human or?
Um, sure. He's human.
I'm making you flesh out all your characters. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
When was he born,
I
Chris?
should be thinking about
What's
these
his
kinds of
favorite
things.
color?
Yeah, no. He's, I mean, you know, it's not particularly, not a particularly, invasive question. I should probably have had an answer, but I was just like, oh,
It's
I don't
fine.
know. Sure, why not? He's a human now, if he wasn't
Does he
before.
like broccoli?
You were unsure of his opinion on broccoli, so he kind of like wanders off into one of the corners. Keep in mind, this room is like quite large, so
Hey,
he
that's
like
better.
wanders off.
That's perfect.
And it's fairly dimly lit. Like there's some like torches on the wall, basically. Um, but the area like closer to the ramp is quite well lit, with like basically like is it like electrochemical torches, but the ones nearer to the far walls are like look a little more traditional, so they're not quite as bright. And he
Mm,
kind of like stands like on like the edge of where like one slips, like the brighter light slips into the dimmer light, and kind of like stands there crossing his arms.
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say, look, Gareth, I'll be straight with you. I've been doing this Rakdos gig for a long time, and I've been treated like shit the whole time. I'm getting sick of it. In fact, I'm getting sick of this whole society. I've been thinking about checking out my other options. I hear you guys got something crazy planned for the Guild Mages Forum. What is it? I want in.
He like smiles and he says, "I mean, I'm not the right guy to ask, man." He's like, look around you. It's like, you think I just got all these guys myself? I mean, I'm a pretty good beast man. I'm a pretty good beast tamer, but I can't get like that guy. And he like gestures over at the huge Ceratok that you were looking at earlier.
Mm.
He's like, I mean, fact of the matter is, my I'm not probably in the best on the best of terms with my clan right this minute. And look, I know they're talking about all the prophecies and the this and that, and the destruction of the forum as like this big triggering event that's supposed to set in motion the whole end raise and all that, but look, man, I get it. I love a little bit of crazy fun, and I'm not really an urbanite. I'm not. So I don't think I could ever join the Rakdos, but let's be frank. I like them a lot better than the Gruul. It's just where I happen to be, you know? And if I keep bringing these guys beasts, eventually I'll be in enough that it'll matter. So, look, I don't understand you. I don't. And I wish I could help you. I do. But I don't really see how I can do it.
All right, fair enough.
I'm running shit low on contacts as it is. But I'll tell you what. There's a an Indrik that I nabbed. He's in one of the warehouses up top. And he well, let's just say he came up lame on the way over. It was my fault. I admit it. I was just pushing him a bit too hard. You know, when you're when you're doing things quick, it can be hard to pay attention to that sort of thing.
Mm.
But if you bring him back to them and say where you got him, well, that might be good enough for an in. I
So,
won't tell them. I won't tell them you didn't tame him.
okay.
Just
Awesome.
bring it to this area, and he kind of like he's like, do you know like this area of the former district been recently been torn down by a legion of by like a subgroup of the Gore clan that I was a part of. This neighborhood here, and he kind of like gestures to one like that's fairly far advanced, or he doesn't point to it. He like describes it, and you kind of like have a vague idea where he's talking about. That there's a group there that he basically is kind of not defected from, but has kind of like left. And that's
Okay.
where he says he stole the animals from. So if you bring that back to them, they'll probably be appreciative of that.
Okay, back to the Gore clan.
Yeah, to that particular kind of like the subgroup of the Gore clan, because the Gore
Right,
clan is kind
right.
of like a big umbrella. So yeah.
So, like, is he suggesting I do that right now? Like,
No, I think
Right.
no, obviously not, because you
Okay.
kind of said like you want to join the Gruul, and he's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I can't help you personally, but if you bring back this Indrik, then they'll at
Okay.
least talk to you, right? So, but yeah, he's not on the best of terms with him right now, so he's like, I can't do it personally. You know what I mean?
Say, all right, thanks. The name's Peter. Peter Skylight.
He's like, best of luck, Peter, and Gruul life's not for everyone, but well, I guess you'll find out for yourself, won't you?
Yes.
Okay. So he looks like kind of relieved, actually, after the conversation.
Okay.
He looked like a little bit nervous before you got there, but he looks like he's feeling pretty good.
He's gonna stab him or something.
And he like wanders back over to the table.
Okay. And yeah, if nobody else wants to break in with their activity, then I'm probably gonna go snooping around again.
Like up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Okay. I'm essentially just looking for like the man in charge and if there's
Oh,
any,
wait,
you know,
you mean like up here on this on this? Well, I say upper floor because it's like above the club, but it's the basement of the building. You know, like
yeah,
the club is all underground, and this is like the
right,
basement.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Investigation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm basically looking for the man in charge and or any like glowing crystals of Rakdos magical power. I don't know why it's what I have in my mind's eye. I'm like just imagining a glowing crystal. It's probably the Blood Witch, but I mean, it's
You know,
not
it
going to.
occurs to you, um, the there was like nothing that like everything up here looks like pretty much just supplies for the club. There's like lots of like food and stuff. There's like the odd like weapon and like there's like a stockpile of like some like stage weaponry and some real weaponry, and just a variety of like stage props and this and that. There's like a you can see there's like a in one corner of the room there's like a basically what looks like a caravan, which is kind of like come like that looks like it came in through one like the double doors and is kind of like drawn up to a halt. And there's like a bunch of what look like basically like a bunch of like wagons and tents and things that have been kind of like set up in one of the corners of the room. And on the side of it, it says Master Panjandrum's like circus of the I can't remember the name. Sorry, Master
Life?
Panjandrum's Extraordinary Carnival of Delights. It says on the
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of the main thing. Um, there's nothing explicitly magical, like just kind of like sitting around up here, and nobody really looks like they're in charge up here. This
Mhm.
looks like mostly just like storerooms. Um, there is like a staircase that like leads up to the main floor of the building.
Okay.
And as you kind of like ascend there, you hear like someone call out to you. He says, "You can go up there if you want, but don't stay too long, okay? We gotta get the next beast in pretty soon."
I kind of go like a thumbs up.
Yeah. So the first floor is this looks like I said, it looks like a pretty much bog standard grocery store up here. There's nothing all that suspicious. It's just closed and fairly dark and dusty.
Like too dark to see well.
No, you can see fine.
Oh, okay.
There's like well, actually maybe yeah, it probably would be too dark to see very well.
I'll cast light then.
Okay. Yeah, so it brightens up and it looks like a grocery store, but it's not like particularly well stocked currently. Um,
Okay. But nothing. So it just seems like a grocery store. So kind of like I guess because when we were up on the streets, there was just a bunch of boarded up buildings. Is this one boarded up or is it open?
it's not like boarded up, but it is like those are like it's been like closed and nobody's been up here for a while because like there's dust kind of like starting to settle
Okay.
on every surface.
Is there on every surface? Is there anywhere where there's conspicuously a lack of dust?
Um, no, not really. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
you kind of like you like leave a noticeable footprint at the top of the stairs when you
Shit.
like step on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I do a quick lap, there's nothing that seems out of place or odd.
Other than the fact that like this, it looks like I mean, like I said, it looks like nobody's been in here for a while. Like it's
Okay.
very, you know, very and like there's not very much like in the way of actual like fresh food. There's almost nothing. There's like some vegetables and fruits that look pretty much past their prime and like they're starting to go to seed or rot. Um, and then there's some random like boxes and cans of canned goods that look fine, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah. It looks like nobody's been up here for a little while, and yeah, this kind of squares with like the building you saw on the corner. You know, that basically was like a grocery store, but it was like closed. Um, so you do recall seeing this store, but you didn't really like couldn't really see inside because it was like closed. But now you're inside and it's closed. It looks like a closed grocery store.
Okay, I'll go down and then I'm gonna ask the guy how much time till we have to put the next piece on.
Right now.
Okay then.
Okay, so but
Showtime.
before you do that, Ty or Sean, are you going with this corpulent figure in it must be mentioned
Corpulent.
very uh very theatrical leather garb. uh he's got like a big huge leather jacket with like tons of pockets, but it suits him quite well, as a matter of fact. Like the way that the suit is cut, it makes him look much like very imposing and like broad shouldered. Um, and he's already a very large man, and his coat makes him look like he's the size of a barn. You have no idea how he's not like sweating by being in it. It seems like it would be very hot. Anyway, are you gonna follow him? He's like, follow me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so he takes you down this hallway, and you kind of like he kind of like walks around his office. And as you cross this junction, you kind of look in on the kitchen, and there's a bunch of people like the people are starting to get really busy, and like there's like constantly waiters like now like streaming from this far door in and out, picking up drinks and food. Um, and then this door, which says "knock and lose a hand."
Wait, which door?
This door, it has a sign on it.
Oh,
It
okay.
knock and lose a hand. Um,
Interesting.
and then he kind of takes you down the staircase to the lower level. So there's a small room. Oops. Here. So at the base of the stairs, um, there's also a waiter who like passes ahead of you and heads down these stairs and goes through this door as you're walking down the stairs. This room looks kind of like a locker room. There's just like a bunch of like lockers, and a couple people are like someone has just like emerged from over here and is like drying off with like a towel, um and is like goes to like over to a locker and opens it and starts like putting on their uniform. But he like it doesn't pay any attention to that and walks past into this other room, which is full of performers and props and a
Mm.
whole kit and caboodle of stage equipment. Um, like I said, there's boxes piled high in here, and there's a whole variety of performers just milling about and chatting. None of them look like they're like ready to go on stage. They're just like dressed in like for the most part like street clothes. Um, except for like um, hold on a second. Um, uh, I have to make sure I describe this character correctly. Sorry.
Ooh, that means they're important.
That means they're important.
Means they're a big deal.
God damn it.
Very important character.
Okay, good, because yes, there's a man in the corner. It's a human, who is like absurdly tall and absurdly thin, and he's wearing like a suit, um,
Slender Man.
with a tiny hat, um, and he's wearing like face paint, which is like pale white, um, and he has like basically kind of like clown makeup on, like he's got a red nose and big red lips, and he's got like red paint that go around his eyes as well. He looks very, very nefarious for being so clown-like. Um,
It's the image I'm thinking of. Oh man.
and yeah, he's just like in the corner of the room, kind of like with his arms folded, and he has to like lean against the wall so as not to hit the ceiling. He's so tall. But he's not the person who your attention is drawn to. The guy says, "Carl, Carl, where's Carl?" And the hubbub kind of dies down for a bit. Um, and a like small like Viashino wanders over, basically a lizard person. Uh, for those of you who don't remember what a Viashino is, he wanders over. He says, "Yeah, boss, what is it?" And he says, "There's Loxodon here. He's a pretty good percussionist and a half decent guitar player. I know you said you were looking for someone to accompany you. You guys want to maybe hash it out?" And the Viashino, like narrows his eyes and looks at Sean and says, "I mean, we can give it a go." He says, "Perfect. Let me know what you think. I'll be in my office for the next few minutes." He's like, Carl kind of like looks you up and down. He says, "So the boss likes you."
And I kind of nod and be like, yeah, performed. He's just stared at me, but he said he liked me, so I guess we gotta take him at his word.
That's good. That's good. I mean, look, I'm gonna be frank. I've never really met someone from your guild that's ever been able to throw a real party. You think you got it in you?
And I think about it, and I think so. Yeah.
He like nods and he says, "Well, okay. You I'm not gonna get you to learn any new material, but we'll see how you can do. Listen, I'm supposed to accompany her damn, I thought of a title for Blood Witches and it had to do with like dismembering, but I can't remember what it was." Anyway, he's gonna be accompanying her when she goes on, and he's like, "Can you play the drum?"
I said I can. Yeah, I play a mean bongo.
He nods. He's like, "That'll do." And hey, if you can't manage it, well then, well, you've been to a Rakdos show before.
Oh God. What I got myself into. uh,
Doom.
I kind of like be like, yeah.
You're a
I
tough
guess.
guy. You can handle yourself.
Oh, cause
Things get a little crazy up there sometimes, but hey, that's all part of the fun, right? And he
God.
kind of like nudges you, and he can like tell that he's like intentionally trying to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, it's definitely working. I think.
Yeah, he can totally tell that you're a little nervous, and he's like relishing in it a tiny bit, and he like grins and he says, "All right, well, we're not on for another few hours, so I'm gonna go have a smoke and kick back at my place. I was hoping that one of these carnies would be able to accompany me, because, nothing like a show. At least they know how to put on a show, but I don't know, they're just not my style. And he also looks you up and down. He says, by the way, you got any black clothes?
Black clothes. Uh. Can this change my color of my clothes?
I guess you make a color appear on an object for 1 hour.
Yeah, I could.
That seems like it's the kind of thing that could change the color of your clothes. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem. Yeah, that seems like it's within the. He's like, huh, neat trick. He's like, maybe put some red on there too, and he kind of like walks off.
Okay. Some
He's
red.
like, if you don't, he like stops at the door for a second. And he says, I mean, if you do decide like that you want something, there are people in the wardrobe, and he kind of points over to the far door. He says, "We might be able to dig something up for you, but that'll do."
I'll like, okay. I ask him if he wants someone to talk to while he goes on a smoke break.
Why do you want to talk to him, Sean?
I don't know. Just think that he's like what he runs the show. He's gonna comfy the witch. May have met her. I want to.
So do you want to go talk with him basically, and you're kind
Maybe
of
I just want to
implying,
get information. I don't know.
well, yeah, but you're kind of implying like, do you want me to come chat with you while you go have a smoke?
Yeah.
Basically. Okay, make a persuasion check.
Maybe he doesn't, but we'll see. Oh. Oh.
He like kind of like smiles and he says, "Look, man, we ain't friends yet. You do a good job playing tonight, and we'll go from there. All right?" And he kind
Oh.
of like walks away. He
Okay.
seems kind of sad.
Oh.
He wishes you were friends.
He is. I want to be his friend. Yeah, I think I'll maybe go get some black clothes because I don't know how long I'll be on stage for. So if I don't want my clothes just randomly become
Still
green.
pretty early in the show. As you okay, so you actually
I guess I could ask how
I'd say
long the
the
show is.
beast fight is actually gone. As like the first one has actually ended a while back, and there's like another performance on the stage, which uh, Steed and Tyler, who I've been completely ignoring, which I apologize for, but it's kind of the way
It's all good.
kind of the way the
I'm
cookie
enjoying it.
crumbles. Yeah, you've been
Yeah.
enjoying. Another act has come on, um, which is basically like some people doing like a I don't know. You ever like those like Cirque du Soleil dudes who have like the wheel on like it looks like kind of like I have no idea what this thing is, but it's like two like circles on the end of like a rod, almost like a huge baton, and like each circle is like 6 foot in diameter, and they're like go inside it and like go and spin around and do all kinds of crazy stunts.
I
You
have
have no
no
idea.
idea, but I'm trying to look this up right now. Damn it! Wheel? Giant wheel?
I kind of know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I'll draw it. Here, look.
Yeah. I think it might actually be called. Hold on.
The
It's like
wheel of death?
it's like a salt and pepper shaker.
Yes, it's literally called the Wheel of Death.
Is it? Like, actually?
It's amazing.
One of those things. So
I am
it's like
enthralled right now. Anna
perfect.
is enthralled.
Perfect. I found a pretty decent photo.
I'm watching a video of it. It's amazing.
Yeah. If you guys have never seen one, they're pretty cool. So yeah, there's a duo doing a Wheel of Death performance on stage. This one actually is decked out like these all of these like circles are like decked out with like all kinds of like blades and knives and things, and the central bar of the wheel is on fire.
Whoa.
Because they just don't know how to quit, these guys.
Yeah. Have you ever seen such a thing?
So yeah, so that's what you guys are
Once, but I
watching.
wasn't awake.
Okay. Um, so yeah, you head back over here, Sinich, to the door you mentioned, and this is like a dressing room. So there's like a variety of people here who are like getting ready to go on stage. The next act, which look to be you don't know, you can't tell what they do, but they're over here on this side of the room, like conferring about their act. Um, and yeah, there's like a bunch of like closets and things here, and there's a Vidalcan woman who looks like a little bit harried, who is dressed in like very ostentatious red and black, like almost like Harlequin kind of looking outfit, and she says, "You, what can I do for you?"
And I think I'm gonna say I'm looking for like black clothes with a bit of red to accompany. Did I catch his name? I don't remember if I caught his name.
Yeah, it was
And his
stated.
name is Carl.
Carl, yes.
She's
To
like,
accompany
"Oh, okay."
Carl, and then I'm like, you know, stop concentrating or whatever on my little
She like
cantrip
peers
in
at
it.
you. She like peers at you for like a couple seconds, and she says, "Hmm, yeah, all right."
Hmm.
She like walks over to like a chest that's sitting on the floor, and she like throws. She like has like a there's like a weird like handle that she like ratchets over to one side and then opens, and you see inside of it like there's like these like what basically look like almost like a tent, but is actually just a simple black tunic that like is buttoned up down the center and has like red threading throughout it, so it looks kind of like I said, a little more than just a simple black tunic. It's got some like when you kind of like move, you can kind of like see the red threading underneath, kind of like emerge through it. It looks pretty nice. And she says, "If you stain this, I will tear your eyes out."
I believe her.
She like hands it to you. She's like, she's like, "All right, if you don't need anything else from me, get lost."
Right. I think I'll go like fold it up and then I guess wait till I'm called and then yeah, I'll go hang out here with the other performers and just talk to them and ask them where they're from and stuff. I don't know, just like see if anyone's like a Gruul clan, I guess,
Yeah.
because
So, well, yeah. If you're wandering and make conversation, is there anything in particular you're trying to find out, or you're trying to suss out, or you're interested
uh,
in finding out from these people?
I guess if that like blood witch is like somehow connected to like the Gruul clan or not Gruul, is it Gruul? Is it the Gruul clans? Am I
What do you
saying
mean?
this right?
Kind of the
Yeah.
big thing we're investigating
Yes.
right now.
Yeah, if the Blood Witch is like somehow connected to the Gruul clans, or just in
Mm.
general, which guild the Blood Witch is on.
Blood witches are Rakdos. They're
Rakdos.
very strongly Rakdos aligned. Yeah.
Alright.
They're like the blood witches are like basically second only to Rakdos himself generally.
Oh
there's a
really?
god.
multitude of, yeah, they're like very high ranking members generally. Keep in mind though
I don't know
that
how to screw this up.
keep in mind though like the Rakdos are they're not like they don't have like formal like ranks. Keep in mind, and basically what it's all about is like how big of a crowd can you draw.
Hmm.
That's what really matters to them. And generally speaking, the Blood Witches are able to weave all kinds of like, well, magic. So that makes them very popular, obviously, because they're able to like literally enchant their audiences into a state of like frenzy and fervor. So they tend to be very popular, which means they tend to be very highly ranked within the Rakdos. And in fact, the only when Rakdos like descends into like his centuries long slumbers, which he occasionally does, usually the de facto leader of the Rakdos in that time will be one or more Blood Witches. Uh, so yeah.
Cool. I guess in that case, I want to see if any of the other members of the like performers are gruel in nature.
Sure. Make a persuasion check, and while we're doing that, we're gonna go back to we're gonna go back to Andrew.
Okay.
So yeah, you've been called into action.
Mm-hmm.
So Stevie kind of like calls you over, and he says, "You, me, and him," and he kind of gestures to the Gruul guy. He says, "We'll take this side since you're the new guy. My other guys, they know what they're doing. They don't need your help."
Okay.
So yeah, so there is a some kind of beast that you're not quite sure, but looks kind of like basically like a fairly large elk, with extra horns and kind of like very rough, bristly fur is kind of like coming to, um, and the Gruul member kind of like you see him like he gets like out of his he has like a little pouch at his side and he gets out like this little like green gold trinket and
Mm.
he kind of like
Wait, what?
twists it and it like comes to life and glows and he like whispers a few words to it and then the animal in front of him kind of like wakes up and like kind of like shivers and like it's almost like I said like almost like it was in like some kind of trance and now it's like awakening
Mm.
and it like looks around and it's kind of like confused um and the other one says, "Now quick before it realizes what's going on," and he kind of like starts prodding it from behind it, pushing it from one cage towards the other one.
Okay. Okay, I'll assist.
Okay. Make a check. Um, we'll just go with um, I don't know, some check. Animal handling, I guess, is
Animal
probably the only thing that really springs to mind.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
thank God.
yeah, this works. So your stick sparkers like you're like trying to like you try to like squeeze the handle to make it spark, but it just doesn't work. But
Mm.
luckily the other two do, and the you like are able to like push them into the thing, and then the Gruul guy kind of like jogs off for a second and goes over to the other side, and you see him like whispering into his like little magical bauble again, and he makes like a couple of hand motions and over by the animal on the other side. And then Stevie's like, "You is it good?" And he yells over to the girl and says, "Yeah, it's good." And they go, "All right, release!" And he kind of like pulls a winch, and the two cages kind of slam back together and start fighting.
Mm.
Which you guys, Steed and Tyler, see very clearly. And
Whoa.
it's all of a sudden these animals are like in like a furious bloodlust and are like attacking each other.
Neat.
Oh. Whoa.
All right, Andrew,
Yep.
what do you do now?
Okay. Well, I mean, disguise self only lasts for an hour. So I'm going to
There's probably about like a half hour until the like there's like going to be like one more big show. You know what? Yeah, actually, maybe I should. Yeah, like have like the Master Panjandrum's kind of like show finale will be shortly, and then there'll be one more big animal fight and do like with like the Ceratok, and before the Blood Witch comes on. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, does anyone remember how long does Alter Self last? Up to an hour as well. Okay, so I guess it doesn't really matter. How long has it been, roughly?
I'd say like 15 minutes. Seems
Okay.
about right.
Okay. And it's about half
And
an hour till the
it'll
next
probably
animal
be
fight?
it'll be another half hour till you're expected to. Well, till they're expecting you to help put the next one in.
Okay, I'll just bide my time then, and I'll wait until the next.
Sure. Okay. Sean, so you're milling about and kind of like chatting with the members of the troupe, who are getting excited because the grand finale for them is up next. Um, most of them don't know much about the Blood Witch because she's technically not a part of like their group. Like Master Panjandrum is kind of like they're like a traveling kind of group, traveling basically a traveling carnival. So they'll go all over Ravnica. Um, and Yeah, Blood Witch Senka, she's kind of like she's more local. Like this is kind of like her area. Like she tends to stick to District 1. She's not particularly like important in the grand scheme of the Rakdos. But she kind of like runs this area, and the owner of this nightclub um, basically owns it on her behalf, and this is basically a vanity project for her.
Okay.
So as far that's what this is what the scuttlebutt is among Master Panjandrum's troop, at the very least. This is what kind of what they think of the situation, because they know like they're very popular. I don't like you've probably like heard of them. Um, like that's how popular they are. Like
Okay.
you probably know that they exist even if you haven't seen them. Um, and then yeah, Master Panjandrum himself is the very extremely tall like skeletal man who's kind of like in the corner who uh is spoken with like a hushed air by his troop. So yeah, so from what you're able to suss, you're not able to suss out any like explicit Gruul involvement
Okay.
as far as you can tell, among this troop, or any other. Um, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think I gotta go right ready because I think I'm. Am I supposed to be accompanying? I guess I'll go look for Carl
Master
and get
Panjandrum
changed.
is like the like you're not up next,
Oh.
but after they go on, there'll be one more big beast fight, and then you're gonna go on.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're getting ready to go on now, so uh, they're
Good.
actually starting to like if unless there's anything else, Andrew basically said he was gonna wait until after this show. So if there's
Yeah.
anything else you want to do, now's your chance.
Mm, I don't think so. I guess is there like a that's not probably not a viewing area from behind backstage because it's backstage.
I mean,
Uh,
you can see the stage the uh, from the dressing room, but you know.
yeah, I'll go watch them because I probably haven't watched them before.
Sure.
If I've heard about them, I want to see what the big hubbub is about.
Okay. So, you're kind of just sitting in the back, and like everyone's kind of like filing onto the stage. And I guess I'll kind of just describe the performance since you guys are just gonna sit through it. So there's a musician kind of like goes on stage, who's playing some type of horrific accordion bagpipe uh, mashup, which makes extremely loud, ear-piercing sounds. Uh, and then a variety of musicians kind of like join in, like trumpets and drums, and basically are kind of producing a cacophony. Uh, but as the kind of progresses, you start feeling like a kind of melody kind of emerges out of the din that kind of like, it sounds swinging and carnivalesque,
Hmm.
almost as if you're on like a merry-go-round that's going entirely too fast. um, and so a group of people kind of like start like going onto the stage one by one. Uh, Jugglers juggling all types of weird, wild, and bizarre accoutrements. Um, a like again a group of kind of like gymnasts who are like doing like flips and tricks and jumps and like jumping over the jugglers as they like hurl axes within an inch of their heads. And finally, a the tall, slim Master Panjandrum himself unfolds, like almost like unfolds himself from backstage, and like heads onto the main stage. And somehow, like he's like his voice is almost like a whisper, but he is like somehow easily heard despite that. And he says, "Thank you for having us." And at this point, um, Steed and Tyler, make another wisdom check.
Wait, this is a charm effect, right?
It is.
So I get advantage. Or being
Oh,
an
we
elf.
were at it.
Um, so, Steve, you his voice doesn't seem to matter to you.
But it
Yaya,
does.
you're you kind of are in the mood to fight.
Ah,
You're not like, you're not gonna go throw a punch at a stranger or anything, but you kind of feel like your limbs feel like, like, I don't know, like active, and you really want to like get into the fray and start throwing down. And as a matter of fact, the kind of area in the center of the room here is starting to fill up with people who are kind of like swaying to the music and kind of like bumping and jostling into each other and starting
the mosh pit. Please join the mosh
starting
pit.
to really get into it. And then Master Panjandrum like basically kind of like pulls out like a weird kind of like a weird instrument and joins into the chorus. And as he does, like a legitimate fight starts breaking out in the crowd.
Oh.
And yeah, so there's like fist fights happening and blood is flowing, and there's like a general air of like demented glee as people are laughing and jumping around. And the cages, there are cages that had like performers inside of them. um and like some of them are like jumping down into the crowds and doing like crowd surfing. And like at one point, like a particularly zealous goblin kind of like leaps off the top of one and like collapses onto a table and crashes through it. And everyone at the table like jumps up and is like screaming with delight. And yeah, so everyone's just having a great time.
Nice.
Yeah. You kind of you're like pretty into this. You kind of want to join in. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna join in. I'm gonna join this mosh pit and just start hitting people.
You want-
Seems
Alright.
like a fucking riot.
So you notice, well, I don't know, maybe you notice, or maybe you don't. The two Boros soldiers are in there too, and they're just kind of like
No.
getting in there and kind of like
Yeah.
going at it and just having a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's about it. Um, this goes on for a while, and there's like a few like people are kind of like dragged into like back rooms where they're like, bleeding from the face or uh, have a broken bone, but nothing too dramatic happens. And eventually the music kind of draws to a close, and Master Panjandrum kind of like gives an extraordinarily deep bow and says, "Until next time, fine folks." Okay.
Hmm.
And now the the animals are due to be released.
Okay.
So, Andrew, are you
Yes.
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, this massive Ceratoc, who looks like twice as big as a normal Ceratoc, is kind of like breathing like deeply, like breathing in and then out and in and out, and yeah. So the Gruul member kind of like does what he did before
Mm,
and kind of like wakes it up basically from its slumber, and then he d- wanders over to the other side to do the same to the other, but he doesn't actually like help you guys prod it.
okay.
Make an animal handling check.
Oh boy. No.
Oh, you're so dead.
I'm
You
sorry. I'm sorry, Azealia.
you go to like poke it,
Yeah.
and it like your like stick gets like stuck in its hide,
Okay.
and it like it's and all of a sudden the sparker, which had been malfunctioning, kind of like blares to life and kind of
Okay.
like shocks the hell out of the animal, and it, like bellows in pain. And the Gruul guy kind of like whips around, and you see like fire in his eyes, and all of a sudden he like, hello, did we lose somebody?
Did we?
We did. Steed,
We lost Steed.
Oh, sorry.
you're back.
I'm actually have to leave.
Oh, okay.
Just assume my character is moshing really hard.
No. Here, we'll draw it to a close, because
No,
something
no.
important is about to happen.
Ooh, important.
The Gruul member who had been he's staring daggers at you, Andrew.
Okay.
And you see him like kind of like twist the bottle that he had in his hands, and like he pulls it apart, and like a wash of like green mana like envelops you, and you are like overcome with the power of this, and all of a sudden every like the beast like who is like enraged like kind of like stomps its feet, and like the cage just detaches from the ceiling and crashes into the crowd below.
What?
Yeah. All right. We'll call it there.
Yay! What fun.
Nice.
Sorry. Before we do, well, you know what? We'll say to be continued as the cage like falls through the sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, good session, guys. Unfortunately, only half of you guys really got in the mix today, but that's how it goes.
All good. I was just waiting for the fights.
Well, guess
And
what?
that's the way
You got
it
your
is.
wish. The fight is
Yeah.
starting.
I wanted to see Beast go at it.
I was hoping to kind of end the session with this set piece, but that's okay.
There's only enough for one person to go off and do their own thing. Darn it!
Yeah, if you guys had like kind of if it had been like one group that had kind of gone off and done this, then that would have been fine. But it's still fine. You just kind of both did things at the same time. I was like, oh, I have like a backstage area and I've got like an upstairs area, and I wasn't expecting you guys to do both, but it's all good.
I like how Azalea's like, go check out the guard. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to the guard, and the first thing was like, I don't know what to say. This is what I'll say, and then I just like get ushered in away from the guards.
And I was really probably like, there was like a 90% chance that he was just gonna tell your character to go pound sand, but you rolled a 20, and I was like, well, I guess he's got to give him a chance, right? Like,
that's funny.
I mean, your performance, I mean, like it is kind of like your thing. Like if a bard can't talk his way past a guard, then who can, right?
Yeah.
So I had to at least give you the chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, that went well. I probably could have pushed things along a little bit quicker to get so we could have actually did the set piece, but that's okay.
I think it's fine. I think it leaves it on a nice cliffhanger for next time.
Yeah.
Tune in, folks, or whatever.
True believers.
True
Sure.
believers only.
Yeah.